this like early 90s thing going on with like the collar and the hair. I should be wearing stirrup pants, right? Anywho. Hello, it's been a couple days. It's been a couple days, not gonna lie. It is October 8th. And here we are. Let me catch you up on some things that have been happening around here. I don't think I filmed anything on Friday. I know I uploaded my like Manny video, which I know everybody was so excited about, and I appreciate the love so much. I had a lot of fun doing it too, and I did get a chip on this finger, and like my hair is already getting caught in it, so we may have to do another nail polish video soon. Since then, I've been a little bit under the weather. It's been that time of the month again, and I swear, as I'm getting older, it's getting like worse as far as the physical impact of like that time of the month, because I remember being in like high school and like college and like I could still like do stuff. I didn't have to take a sick day. But now that I'm like 39, it's like, golly, as I'm nearing towards menopause, it's means business. You know, like the cramps where like your legs hurt, like it hurts in your legs and like it's hurting up your back. It was bad. And then I get these awful migraines. And so it was just kind of a weekend of like, I don't want to do anything. I'm just gonna sit here and stay on my hot pad and eat lots of chocolate. That's why there haven't been a whole lot of videos, because I was kind of taking care of myself. And then yesterday I did do a little bit of filming, but I ended it a little bit abruptly because I got a migraine halfway in the day. And so I just didn't finish yesterday's video. So let me catch you up on what happened yesterday. Yesterday was my artist date. The camera really advocates for like these weekly dates where you go all by yourself, you don't take anybody with you, and it's just something between you and your inner artist, and it should be something fun, something you want to do. So yesterday I was thinking about all of the different things I could do. I decided to take myself on like a sketch date, and I went to my city's like cemetery, like our big historical cemetery that's like over 100 years old. Yes, over 100 years old, because it was a gorgeous day yesterday. And this cemetery is massive, along the lines of making it like this like natural park. So it was the big endeavor of like having lots of trees and lots of nature and making it like a cultural experience and less of just a place to put dead bodies. And so it's a beautiful cemetery. It's absolutely gorgeous, and it's really old. And so all of the trees are like really, really well matured trees. Like they're old trees. Like some of them are over 100 years old. And it's just very well manicured, and there's lots of walking paths. Like it's a gorgeous cemetery. I was thinking like, cause I'm nervous about like sketching in public. It's a little bit like scary for me. I thought like, oh, the cemetery, it's gonna be like dead. Get it? And so I thought like, oh, nobody's gonna be there. Apparently a lot of people wanted to go to the cemetery yesterday, because I drove up and there were like 3 or 4 school buses there of like high schoolers touring the cemetery. And then they had like this living history, like ghost spirit walk thing, where it was like Civil War heroes and like historical figures from my area. And so it was kind of like this like walking tour where you'd see like the things and you learn the history of like my town and stuff like that. So it was really cute, but there were tons of people at the cemetery. Like so many people. I thought like, okay, well, everyone's gonna be hanging out with like the more historical part of the cemetery. I'm gonna go to the very back lot where they have all of these effigy mounds. This is a very sacred area for the indigenous tribes that lived here, which was primarily the Ho-Chunk. And so the Ho-Chunk, being a like Great Lakes region nation, created these like earthen mounds in like all these different shapes and like animal shapes and geometric shapes. They actually don't know why they made them, because they're like ancient historical mounds. The area of Madison has over 11 surviving effigy mounds, because there were more than that, but obviously they've all been destroyed with the things that happen when towns are being made. And so the cemetery has like 3 of these like effigy mounds. 4. It has 4 of these effigy mounds. And so there used to be more, but obviously in like the 1900s, like some were like destroyed. And so I went towards like the back of the cemetery where nobody else was touring and kind of hung out with the effigy mounds, which were so cool. There are 2 I think they're like water spirits. And then there's like a linear mound, and then there's a goose mound off in a different section all by itself, but the head of the goose was like destroyed to make way for the railroad, which is awesome. But the rest of it is still there, and all those mounds are now currently protected by the Ho-Chunk people and by like, you know, Parks and Rec and stuff like that of the state. So they're very much well protected, and it was kind of cool to see how the grave plots have been put around them to keep them, to preserve them, and also just how nature has taken over. Like there's a tree growing out of the middle of the goose, which is really, really interesting. And so I kind of hung out there and kind of spent some time with the effigy mounds. And then I did a little bit of sketching. I'm very rusty and I wanted to try to do like a value study, and it was okay. I'm not like overly proud of like, wow, I did amazing. But it was like a good exercise. It was a good practice. I think I would have enjoyed it more if I was feeling a little bit better, because I really had like a bad headache the entire time. And then by the end, I had like a really horrible migraine. And so now today we are going to be wrapping up week 3. My prediction was that this was going to be a powerful week, and it really, really was. Just as a recap, we were looking up like recovering a sense of power. And for me personally, I found myself revisiting like my childhood a lot this week, not only in some of the tasks, but also in like my morning pages. That I didn't do as many this week, but whenever I had a chance to do them, I was thinking a lot and like ruminating on my childhood, which was hard in some places. I'm not gonna lie. It did kind of kick up the dust about certain things and certain like feelings that I have, and maybe some unresolved issues when it comes to my childhood. But all in all, I feel like it was a good thing. It was a really, really good thing. Tasks for this week, like I said, were really, really focusing on childhood, your childhood experience. And so like I drew my childhood home, and I kind of got myself in that headspace. I really enjoyed like putting my little pictures of myself as a kid around the house to kind of like get me in that headspace. I was also able to find, which I don't think I ever really talked about, I was also able to find some of my old like childhood memorabilia. So I found like my little rag rabbit that I used to have and play with, and I found a blanket that my grandma made me, and I actually put it on my bed and I slept with it for like a week. But unfortunately, it brought up some demons in my past and some things that I think I definitely need some help with. And so I am really, really grateful for this week. Some of the tasks were really good about like, what kind of habits are you working on, and like thinking about people that mean a lot to you, and what are their like characteristics and attributes that you love. And then the biggest one was like this inner compass idea. There was a task about listening to your inner compass, which is essentially your intuition, right? And recognizing that like, you know what you need, you just have to allow yourself to ask for it and like fulfill your own wish, right? The inner compass warns us when we are on dangerous ground, and it tells us when something is safe and good for us. Morning pages is kind of a way to connect with this like inner compass. And so it says this week, take an hour to follow your inner compass by doing an artist brain activity and listen to what insights bubble up. And so over the weekend, I started painting again. I had a piece that I had started several months back. It was back in May. I started this piece. I can show you real quick. It's really not that exciting. It's literally it was a poster I had seen on Etsy, and I thought like, oh, well, yeah, I could buy that poster or I could just paint it. And so I started this like diptych, which is a 2-piece painting of like a tiger. So I have the first piece here and then the second piece here. And then it's like these really bright neon colors. The pinks are gonna be like super, super neon. And then the background is gonna be a light pink. And then the eyes are gonna be like a teal green along with the nose. And so, like I said, this is a poster that you can find on Etsy. It's not like it's anything fancy or like it's my own design. I literally just saw the piece on Etsy and I wanted to paint it because I wanted to have something to paint. And so I've been working on this every now and then, on and off, like it said, like for an hour or so. And while I was working on this and doing my morning pages, I came to the realization that I think I need some more help, like I was saying before. I think I need more help with some of these other struggles that I'm having in regards to like childhood trauma and, you know, just some of the things that I just need help with. And so I signed myself up for therapy, which is huge. I think I've flirted with the idea of like, oh yeah, I should go like set up a therapist, but I've never actually done it. And so I was really proud of myself for doing that this week. Like I called up a therapy center and I set up the whole process and found somebody who was gonna help me with PTSD and possibly childhood trauma and other like struggles that I'm having of anxiety and all of these things. And I feel really, really good about it. I feel like for the past couple of weeks, maybe even months, I've been getting this tightness right here in my chest. And for the longest time, I thought it was the iron supplements I was taking because that can be a side effect. I also thought it was because I was anemic, and when you're anemic, you can get like these heart flutters. And so I started taking iron supplements because, you know, my blood levels were low, and I couldn't tell if like the side effects was heartburn and that's what I was feeling, or if it was anxiety and it's like this tension here. The second I made that call to set up a therapy session, I have not felt any tightness whatsoever at all. And I'm still taking my iron supplements. I haven't really changed my diet that much. And I'm wondering if like that was the inner compass of telling me like, it's time to talk to somebody. It's time to get some help. And it's time to like have somebody sit down with you and like figure some of these things out. I'm really, really proud of myself for doing that. And I feel like, again, it took something like this to make me move in that direction. Again, I'm only into week 3 of doing this, but I've already seen so many changes in how I perceive myself and how I'm genuinely want to take care of myself. Not because I should, but because I actually want to. Taking care of yourself because you actually want to, not because you should, was not something I was expecting to learn from this book, but I'm grateful I'm learning that lesson because I'm excited about what will happen next. So in the check-in questions at the end of the sessions, or at the end of the weeks, it asks, how many times did you do your morning pages? I did not do them as thoroughly as I should have this week, as usual. I think I did about 4 days. That's like about the average I've been batting, is like 4 days out of the 7. And so I really want to try to do better. Question number 2 is, did you do your artist date? And I already talked about that. How did you feel about it? It was fun. I enjoyed it. I probably, again, wasn't like, oh, I loved it, it was amazing, but it was a pretty good time. And I would definitely do an experience like that again, just probably not the cemetery. I might go somewhere different, but I did like outdoor sketching, especially in like a nice woodsy area. It was lovely. Okay, the other like check-in was looking for synchronicity. Did you experience any, and what was it? I did definitely have a moment this week. I think I had already mentioned it in a past video, but I ran into a friend just by happenstance at Target, and I was in desperate need of talking to somebody. It had been like, it was right before my cycle hitting, so I was like super, super emotional, and I just needed somebody to talk to. It was lovely. Just being able to talk to her real briefly and just having that like little feminine connection. It was wonderful. So much so that it was just like, yes, this is exactly what the book is talking about, with like this idea of synchronicity, that like when you ask for things, it will be given to you, and the universe and God are listening, and that they will give you these things when you ask for them, and it's your job to take them. The last one is, were there any other issues this week or other significant, or anything significant for your recovery? And I think the big one is setting up a therapy appointment. That was massive. That was massive for me. Like, I am taking it as such a win, and I'm so proud of myself for doing it. And I'm really excited. I'm hopeful, and I'm really looking forward to it, because the end of the year can be really stressful with holidays, and we have lots of birthdays at the end of the month, and I find myself falling back into old habits, and I really feel like getting a little bit of professional help is gonna help make the holidays less like stressful. And that makes me really excited. So week 3 was awesome. Absolutely awesome. I definitely felt like that growth that she had talked about at the end of this chapter, of like, some days are going to be really good, some days are going to be really bad, but that's what growth is. It's not going to be this steady climb. It's going to be kind of like a a little bit like this, but still in an upward trajectory, right? Which kind of like my anxiety like kind of kicks in a little bit. It's like, oh, does that mean the next week is gonna suck then? I'm gonna try really hard to make it not, but that's a possibility. That's a possibility. So week 4 is recovering a sense of integrity. I haven't read it yet, but I have heard about this week, and it makes me a little bit, not nervous, but just like, I don't know how that's gonna work. Because within this week, it says something about reading deprivation. I've heard about this week from other people that have done this course, that this is the week where the challenge is to like not read anything. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't read the content yet. I don't know what the goal is in the week, but I do know that like one of the tasks is like no reading. What? I'm really, really, really enjoying my journey through this right now, and I'm learning a lot, and I'm really, really appreciating just having this space and having you guys like holding space for me so I can express this and explore this, and that we're doing this together. I just think it's fantastic, and I'm so grateful that you guys are willing to hang out with me and like go on this journey with me. So enough mushy gushiness. I gotta get going. I hope you guys have a great day today, and I will see you guys hopefully tomorrow, if not very soon. Okay, bye.